Hello guys, welcome to the very first late Friday night's Banter Blitz of 2018. So happy new year. I'm happy to be back on Chess24. So we start today with the Banter Blitz and then we will continue next week with the normal schedule. So training Tuesday on Tuesday and late Friday night's Banter Blitz on Friday, except for Fridays that will collide with German Bundesliga. So maybe because of that, some of the episodes will be rescheduled, but you will be notified. So to play against me during Banter Blitz shows on Chess24, you need a premium subscription. And here is the nice possibility to purchase it with a discount. You can see this code here. You can just use it to make it 15% cheaper. But you should know that this code is applied only once, so the best way to benefit from it is to purchase the annual subscription, so to pay for 1 year with the one payment. All right, with this subscription, of course, you will have not only the access to the right of playing against me and other Banter Blitzers, but also you will get the access to fantastic premium video series, so you will learn a lot. All right, stream is good, says Cobra. That is very, very nice. I hope you can hear me and see me well. So we will start with playing. One more thing you should know. I've just come back from the tournament in Sweden, in Stockholm, a Rilton Cup. I'm not happy with the result. So there was a nice comment in chat about my happiness about that result. That was an awful result, in my opinion. And another downside of that tournament is that I actually got sick. So you can hear my voice isn't perfect this night. I wish it could be better, but I can't do anything with it right now. I hope it won't affect your understanding of what I'm talking about, at very least. All right. So, a bit of advertising before playing LOL. Yeah, why not? All right, just as usual, I'm going to scroll through the challenges to find some guys I haven't played yet. So for newcomers to the show, I usually start with 3 games against guys I didn't play before. So let's have a look. 1 game already played. 15 games already played, come on. Okay, 3 games, 2 games. So, Commando, Turkey. Premium user, 5-minute rated game, accept. Here we go, I play with white. E4. So, Mr. Commando, are you going to reply or not? Did the live stream start? Yes. So what's going on, Commando? Are you going to play or not? E4, your turn. Giovanni says stream is fine. Der Henker has the same opinion. All right, let's wait for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Abort. Sorry, but we don't have a lot of time, so let's go further. Let's go further, searching for the guy I didn't play before. Onem from Spain, didn't play before, accept. Playing with black. Onem is online. So we're waiting for your move. We're waiting for your move. So probably these guys thought I would play against them later because they challenged probably just a few minutes ago, but what's going on? The second opponent and is not supposed to move. The question, do you accept 3-minute challenges or only 5 minutes? Well, in general, I appreciate 5 minutes, but if you want to play like 3-minute, it's possible, but add the increment at least 1 sec. All right, so 3 plus 1 should be all right. Okay, d3 is played, finally, e5. Let us play. And d4, what is that? Interesting. Like, do we have like Scandinavian reversed after this d3, d4? Yeah, it's Scandinavian reversed. Without the extra tempo for white. Very interesting. Okay. That's really a really interesting thing. I mean, never ever seen this before. It's somehow new. Bishop h4. Commando, you can challenge again, and I will accept your challenge after this game. All right, bishop h4. g5, right? Can we play g5? Just like in Scandinavian with white, but we're playing with black. Knight to d2. Okay, let's take the bishop. I like bishops in general. I prefer them to knights. Okay, now I think we have a great possibility just to break through the center with the help of d4. Usually white somehow manages to, I mean black in Scandinavia manages to stop this breakthrough in the center with both pawns. So in this particular case, c3 and e3 should have been played at some point. Because now I think I have very good perspectives for my dark squared bishop. It is just a monster operating on this diagonal h8, a1. And knight b3 is kind of blunder of the b2 pawn, I think. So I take on f3 with check. Then I take on d1 and take on b2, right? Right. Why not? And look at these pawns. f3, f2, g2, g3. Nice ones, right? Also, never faced that in a game. It's for the first time. So the game of surprises, the game of discoveries. Interesting. Okay, let's bring the bishop to c3. King to f1. Okay. So now we have the time, I guess, to play something like bishop d7 and castling long. But this bishop on c4 is somewhat annoying because it exerts pressure on f7. So maybe it makes sense for me just to start with the b5 attacking that guy, then playing bishop e6. But in that case, that knight can go to c5 and my c6 becomes somewhat weak. I don't like it. So maybe bishop f5 followed by bishop g6 can be the idea. But again, this knight c5 looks annoying. So in fact, I'm tempted to play something like b6, covering c5 square. maybe just bishop b4 with the idea of covering c5 and then something like bishop f5 and so on. Let's try bishop b4. I'm not sure it is the best move, but I like the idea of controlling c5, preventing knight to c5. But knight goes to d4. Very smart. Very smart. And probably even to f5 at some point. Okay, how to coordinate my pieces here? I'm not sure. So there are some problems, definitely. Or I'm creating these problems myself. I'll keep playing against this knight. I want to clarify the things. So maybe it will be a good square for me on g7 as well at some point. At the moment the knight is hanging, right? So let's put the bishop on b6. Could have played bishop b4 again, by the way, just with a tempo. Interesting. All right, maybe bishop b4 was even better. Yeah, I guess it was better. Because now look, if I play king g7, there is rook e7. Okay, let's do something like this. It looks weird, but I'm protecting g5. He was hanging. And want to play bishop f6. Okay, this is probably not very dangerous. I'll play b6. And now I guess I can play f6. And the rook is somewhat trapped. All of a sudden, I control everything on the 5th rank. Bishops are good pieces in general. They control a lot. Strange game, strange opening, strange position. But that's alright, it's only the first episode of our show in the new year. There should have been something strange. Okay, I'll capture this with pleasure. Now it's time to activate the pieces and promote our pawns on the queen side. Okay, let's go. Of course, there is no chance for white to survive it because I have extra exchange and 3 against 1 on the queen side. Yeah. Interesting game. So, in fact, d3 was most likely mouse sleep, I think. So after that, we have Scandinavian. That just the only difference is the color of pieces, in fact, but it's just the same position. Queen d1 is one of the lines, of course, and after that, I guess black, when plays Scandinavian, usually captures the knight and then plays c3, e3. Bishop h4 can be also the move, but here I don't think that knight to d2 is a good idea. So something like e3, in my opinion, should be played, and then c3 to have the possibility to stop d4, because after that, look, just play bishop g7, second the pawn after c3, immediately d4, and black is already better, in my opinion. So pair of bishops, this bishop becomes active. I can't see a compensation for this positional drawback, in fact. So it wasn't necessary, of course, to blunder that pawn on b2. But anyway, black is already better. But after this, of course, black also has extra material. So the only thing was just to actually coordinate the pieces, and somehow I managed to do this, but not without the adventures. Okay. Let's go further. I promised to take the challenge from Commando. Is there a challenge from Commando? Let's have a look. Yeah, here is Commando, right? Right. And this time he challenged with 3 minutes. But okay, let's accept. I should be faster when playing 3 minutes. So in general, I prefer playing 5 minutes. Because in this case, I can explain more. And my main idea here is not to win the game or something. My idea is to make you learn something new about chess. That's why I prefer playing with slower time controls. Okay, d3. Looks like I can even take on e4 if I want. But I'm not sure I do. So let's play d4. Let's play for space. All right. Interesting position. I'm not sure it was a good idea for white to do this. So now the pawns are kind of weak. And I have some interesting tactical tricks. Look at this position. This looks very, very promising. Mm-hmm. So this pawn on e4 is very annoying for white, I think. And I guess it should just decide the game. So I can't see a defense against e2 and then e1. Should I prepare this e2 or just play e2 right now? I guess I can play right now. And then protect the bishop. Okay, extra minor piece. Should be just good enough for a win. But I have only 27 seconds, somehow forgot about the time again. So I should play slightly faster. Blundered that. Unfortunately. Should be just winning for black. Yeah, lost some time, but was absolutely winning. All right. In any case, that is interesting. So, white played badly in the opening stage. That was like, I don't know. So all this was more or less playable, but after 96, I guess taking on e5 was interesting, which was much better than what white did. So this f takes e5 is just no. That is very bad. So knight e4 is kind of blunder in my opinion. After that, I have very promising position, very good one. But what to do instead? c4 is hanging, and it's very hard to protect it. And in general, black's pawn structure is much better. And after this, look, bishop d4, king h1. By the way, if king g2, then I take on e4, and the only move is something like bishop e2, because if bishop takes c4, I wanted to play bishop h3, winning the exchange already. So, okay, king h1 was played, but after that, you saw what happened. So I have just perfect pawn on e4, and well, great chances. So I have better development, better pawn structure, and so on. But okay, somehow lost on time. In any case, thanks for the game. So let's go further. Let's continue with one more player I haven't played yet. Let's search for the one. And then we'll come back to the normal order of challenges. And here is the guy from United Kingdom, 5 minutes, accept. Playing with black this time. Once again, for those who just joined, having some problems with the voice, sorry for that, but I'm ill. Still ill. So the question from the very famous song of the Smith band, the Morrissey, am I still ill? In my particular case, is yes, I am. c4, knight c6. This weekend's d4, but leads to positions from English opening. So bishop c5. Bishop g2. All right, let's play d6. I need my second knight on e6 to occupy d4. How to get there? I'm not sure it's a realistic goal. So Since white played knight to e2, not to f3, let's try h5. If white plays h4, maybe my second knight will go to g4. h4, g4. It weakens f4 square. Look at this. Look at this hole. Let's go there with the second knight. So one knight will cover d4, another one will watch this f4. Maybe there will be a chance to occupy it at some point. All right. Now let's occupy d4. So if white wants to trick me with tactics after b4, I have knight takes e2 and queen e2, bishop b4. After knight c3, it's no longer the case. So maybe now we will go to e6, just to control f4, additionally prevent an f4 or something. Maybe already intending to occupy f4, maybe not. We'll see. But I love the idea of having the knight on e6, not on c6, because now I can play c6 at some point, controlling d5, preventing white's typical play. Bishop e3. Okay, I think we should ignore it simply. We should ignore it. So let's play c6, controlling d5 square. And then maybe at some point we'll put the queen on f6. Maybe even next move, controlling additionally d4 and f4. So what I'm doing here, I'm just trying to use weaknesses that white made with his play. Queen d2. So now maybe queen f6. Right? Why not? Because I think after queen d2 it was already some sort of intention of playing f4. So let's control the squares. So what could be the plan in general? Okay, it's very nice to control these squares, but what is next? What is next? Would be nice to occupy f4 with a piece, but maybe I will have to occupy it with the pawn at some point. I mean, I can't do it with the piece right now, but in general, I want to have the knight there after all the exchanges here. But maybe the pawn will be also not that bad, especially if white will capture with the bishop. Let's say knight f4, bishop f4, takes f4. There will be a threat of f3. Don't know. There are pros and cons. So now d4, is it a threat or not? It may be sort of threat. So maybe I should play something like bishop d4. Looks strange, right? Bishop d4, bishop takes d4, e d4, knight goes away somewhere. But then I occupy f4 square, and then e5 is also a great blockading spot for my pieces. Let's try it. I'm not sure it is the best move here, but it looks playable. At very least, I prevent white's d3, d4 move. And now you can probably hear my son on the background. Tell me if you do. If you hear him. King h2. ChronicStudent, yes. Does it mean you can hear my son? Okay, you can hear him. By the way, today, 1 year ago, Andrey Ostrovskiy came to this planet. So he turned 1 today, actually. You can wish him all the best in chat. I'm sure I'm playing this correctly, in fact. This way, oh, I expected knight takes f4, in fact, followed by, but maybe this is also good. And then knight goes to e2. All right, this is an interesting position. That is an interesting decision moment. I can take the knight, I can take the bishop. So if I take the knight, queen takes, queen f4 check, king goes away, he can come back with the queen to d2 and break my blockade. Knight takes g2 is interesting because after that I have bishop takes g4, hg4 and h3 idea, but I'm not sure if it is correct because of what? Because of king g3 move. So probably I have take on e2, in fact. Yeah. That is not what I wanted to achieve, in fact. It's nice to have this dark square blockade. It's nice to have such a bishop as I do. But I wanted the same thing with other set of pieces, in fact. But okay, my opponent gives me a lot of things to do here. So he should have played f4 as soon as possible. Now I have very good position. Just gorgeous king here. Oh, that was a mistake. In fact, I should have played a4 first, then everything else. All right, I want to save this rook on the board for now. Oops. This is a minor piece. It's very generous, in fact. Okay, I won. So, was really interesting. Was really interesting game. I'm not sure what happened here when I played queen to f6. After rook to d1 and bishop d4. Bishop d4 was probably okay. So what I wanted to achieve in this position is something like bishop d4, e d4, and after knight goes away somewhere, I just blockade this f4 and I still have the knight on the board. In my opinion, it is vital to have the knight to maintain this blockade. And this guy on b1 is definitely misplaced here. That's why white played king to h2, most likely, just avoiding these lines. And now, maybe I should have tried this knight to f4. What could have happened in this case? In this case, if bishop takes f4, I can definitely try this. with the idea of f3. And if knight takes on d4, I don't have to take with the queen. I will just take with the knight. And I still have the knight on the board. Maybe that was better. For example, if knight e2 now, I have more possibilities. First of all, I guess just f3 wins. After knight takes d4, I have this intermediate capture on g2 attacking the rook. So knight e2 doesn't work. But even if we imagine this works, I can take on e2, queen takes here, and queen to d4. It's a much better version of blockade if compared to what I had in my game, with the pawn on d4 and queen on f4. I guess, because, well, I just control more. But maybe I just overestimate my position. Still, the same maneuver, queen c2, queen c3 should be fine for white. Okay, so it's important to save the knight on the board. I mean, maybe this knight to f4 was correct idea. And now if takes, I take on d4 with which piece? With the pawn, I think. Attacking the knight c3. Now, if knight takes f4, I have this move, I think. Attacking the queen and then taking that knight. Yeah, that's true. So the knight has to go away, and that is basically what I want to have here. Now I have great position, so I can put my queen on e5. Perfect dark squared blockade. And this knight on f4 is just a monster. So yeah, that is where I played badly. As for white, I don't think it is very promising to play this way in general. Well, it's playable, but I think white should consider developing the knight on f3, not on e2. So on e2 is quite risky. I just play h5, and there is this threat of h4 already. And if you play h4, you weaken g4, so I can put my knight through f6 to g4, which is also very nice for black. So black has no problems with finding good squares for his pieces, I guess. That's the basic problem with this system. All right. Okay. And the thing that Tempest 18 says that white was better. White wasn't better at any moment of time. White was worse everywhere. There was just the scale of being worse. So even here, if white plays the best way, I mean, going away with the bishop, and for example, something like this, well, I think white is still not better. There is no reason of being better. I can't see a weakness in black's position that white can attack. So it may be balanced, I would say. It may be balanced. So I can say here, rook takes f4. Now say something like rook g8, then rook through g5 gets to the 5th rank, and so on. It may be balanced, yeah. So the bishop is awful, being limited with own pawns, but probably black will have a hard time finding weaknesses, finding way to white's weaknesses, I mean. But still, there are interesting ideas. Maybe instead of rook g8, I can play something like rook b8 immediately, intending to play b5, and so forth. Black has no weaknesses here, as we can see. This f7 is not a weakness, bishop protects it. It's very important to understand. So, better than in the game. Yeah, in this case, I agree. So, it was much better than in the game, because letting my king on e5 was a decisive mistake. After that, there is a big difference in the activity of pieces. All right, now let's come back to normal order of challenges, and we're going to play with Nihil Datar, exactly the author of this comment about that white was better than in the game. So, Sicilian. Just realized I'm playing with white, finally. Knight f6. Thanks for all the explanations. Well, you're welcome. I'm here to help. H3. One of possible moves. In this position, on the move number 6, white has plenty of different options, including h4. So almost everything is possible here against this knight or setup. Bishop e6. Okay, let's play g4. All right, very aggressive approach. Very aggressive play. Let's take. And bishop g2. Now I'll capture the queen first. And then this knight. b7 is hitting. b7 is under pressure. My bishop is a monster in this long diagonal. All right, knight to c6. One of possible ways of playing it. What about bishop e3? Just creating a sort of bishop b6 at some point, blockading black's queen side. Also preparing castling long and controlling d4 square. And now I wanted just to play knight to d5, in fact. Looks like a natural option. Now I have pair of bishops, which is very nice. I love having pair of bishops. c3, another natural follow-up, controlling b4 square, limiting the activity of the bishop, of the knight, and so forth. So perfect setup for a pair of bishops. So pawns are on both flanks. There are no positional concession. I mean, in the sense of the pawn structure for white. So it should be great for white, in fact. h5. So how to react to this h5 correctly? I think just king e2, because if I take on h5, this creates a weakness on h3. If I play g5, black plays f5. So I like this pawn structure just like how it is at the moment. So I will just play king e2. After hg4, rook h1, I will recapture with the rook. Should be okay for now. What is the plan? In fact, I have to try to grab the space on both flanks. I have to push pawns on both flanks. Sooner or later, I will get to that plan. Right now, it's very tempting for me to try some like a4, a5, bishop b6 maybe. Let's try it. I don't know if it is very good or not, but looks just playable, simply blockading that b7 pawn or forcing some new weaknesses. So after a5, well, this b5 square becomes weak. It's probably not that critical right now, but at some point it may become a problem for black. Let's bring the rook to the center. At the very least, I have something very simple in mind, like doubling rooks along the d file, and then we'll see what to do, how to continue. And black should have some problems with the active plan here, in fact. So now I want to clarify the things with this pawn. Would it be h4 or h takes g4 with the exchange on h1, or maybe without exchange on h1? We'll see. But h5 is hanging for sure. So if black doesn't do anything, I will just capture it. If black plays h4, closing the h file, I think I can focus on this plan of just playing rook d2 and another rook to d1. Exerting some pressure along the d file. Okay, knight e7 giving me a pawn, in fact. So now I can capture it if I want. The only downside with taking on h5 is that I can't take with the bishop because of g6. And if I take with the pawn, there will be what? There will be rook d to f8 most likely attacking my bishop. And if my bishop goes to somewhere along diagonal g8, a2, h5 drops. And also after g takes h5, there is something like f5, but that is probably not very dangerous. I can also take on h5 and after rook f8 play bishop to g6 and play this position. Okay, I will have an extra pawn. But it may be a problem to convert it, and there will be a counterplay after knight g6, hg6, and rook h4 attacking my a4. And then potentially this h3. Okay. So hard decision. Okay, I don't want to clarify the position right now. So I will just play this move, f3, additionally protecting g4. Waiting slightly. Because I have a feeling that black will have problem with finding useful moves. Alright, g6 is already something different. I guess that black played g6 with the idea of f5. I also think that opening the position slightly after that will be not that bad idea for white. After this move, I wanted to try... Okay, bishop c5 is already prepared, so we have to do something with this. Okay. First real object of attack, g6 pawn. Not only this, I mean, I can take here now. Oh, I should have played bishop b5, my goodness. Or maybe it's fine even this way. I should be fine even this way. Okay, so pair of bishops against the rook should be winning, right? But yeah, very interesting game in any case. So white had the advantage, and it wasn't that simple to convert it. In fact, here I think after bishop g2, bishop b4 deserves attention. Because after knight c3, I'm clearly better. Queen takes d8, and the king is not very good. This bishop already attacking b7. So I thought bishop b4 should have been played, pinning my knight. Now I don't want to give black a chance to damage my pawn structure, but I can even do this. I mean, castling is playable move, but it's potentially quite risky. So I think bishop d2 should be played in the response. In which case, black can play knight to c6, protecting the bishop, and everything looks fine for now. So I can probably play this, a3, and then let's say bishop takes c3, knight c3 is unclear. I mean, in the middle game, I'm not sure who's better. Probably still white is slightly better. Probably it's just a roughly balanced position. For example, h5 here looks very interesting. If I take on h5, then knight c3, bishop c3, something like queen h4 with a counterplay. Or maybe queen g5 attacking the bishop and attacking the pawn and protecting e5. Yeah, maybe queen g5 is even better. Excuse me this. So yeah, I'm not sure, but bishop b4 looked much better than taking on c3. So after this, I guess I was quite comfortable. Now bishop b3 castling is threatening. Bishop b6 is my threat as well. After king c7 and knight d5, okay, it's a classic example of like having the advantage. I'm just slightly improving my position move by move, and at some point there are some weaknesses that black simply struggles to protect. So that's how it was played. Okay. Miktal, wow, is the next. I mean, it feels like we haven't played for ages. At least here on Chess24. Okay, e4, c6. Make knows my weaknesses. So let's play d4. What's going on? Isn't d5 forced? Yeah, d5, okay. So what I wanted to try this time is just this exchange. Feels like an equal position already, but I don't think it is equal. So there are some chances for white, I mean. e6. Okay, now I think I can play queen to b3, attacking b7. Should be nasty. Let's try this at least. All right. I can take this and play knight to e5. That was my idea. Knight to d7. All right. I have a chance to play bishop b5 now. I think it is a good move. g4 grabbing that bishop is also an idea. But let's start with bishop b5, creating some threats. And bishop e7 looks like a mistake, because now I can play bishop to g5. Feels like. Yeah. Bishop d6 was a move. Preparing bishop takes e5. Because now there is a threat of bishop takes f6, followed by taking on d7. Yeah, I just do this. What's going on? And it's lost, because it's the extra minor piece. All right. So bishop d6 was a move here still. Like preparing bishop takes e5. Now bishop g5 makes no sense at all. I wanted to play something like bishop f4 maybe g4, maybe even f4. I don't know which one. So maybe g4, bishop g6. Because if bishop e5, I just take on e5 and two minor pieces are hanging. So bishop to g6. But maybe even here I have some chances after g5, but in this case, okay, bishop takes e5 is playable. And black is fine. So g5 makes no sense. I probably have to take this one. And after this one, I guess black still has good chances. I mean, white should be better here, 100%. with pair of bishops and better pawn structure, but it's not necessarily a great advantage or something. So maybe something like f3 protecting g4. And now it's important not to castle, because if castles, then g5 wins a piece. But king e7 is just okay. Yeah, white should be better 100%, because these knights are very poor. It's very hard to find good work for them. But black has some ideas like e5 and so on, so should be fine. All right, let's go further. ChessPaul is my next opponent, 2762. Higher than me at the moment. So it will be a great fight, I guess. Philidor. Oh, this way. I don't think it is the accurate order of moves, in fact. Because now I have this very nasty queen d5, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And now bishop g5, as far as I remember, very annoying. Don't quite understand what is going on. So I can take on d8, bishop takes d5, bishop takes c7, winning a pawn, right? I hope I'm not blundering something simple, but at first glance it looks like a pawn. It looks like a pawn because d6 is hanging and I can't see the way black can protect it. Alright, so it's extra pawn and pair of bishops already. Quite nice. Quite good for white. So I can take on e5, I can play bishop b5 first. Don't know which is better, so let's just take on e5, I guess it should be okay. Now say bishop to g3, or bishop to f4, or bishop to c3, or bishop to b5. Wow, so many different possibilities. I don't know which one is better. If I play bishop f4 or bishop g3, I should understand that there are something like knight e4 or knight b4, attacking c2, which may be or maybe not that dangerous. If I play bishop c3, on the other hand, there is a problem potentially with what? With knight a4. So maybe I should just forget about my pair of bishops and play bishop b5 and bishop takes c6. That should be just good enough. Let's do it. Also damaging black's pawn structure slightly. After this, I mean, why not? And now castling. To avoid anything dangerous connected with rook e8 and so forth. Now it's important to find a good square for the bishop. Maybe I will start with this move. Rook e1. Just protecting the bishop and maybe forcing black to play f6. Now bishop g3. Because if black takes on g3, this improves my pawn structure. If not, then there is a challenge because I want to play knight to c3 attacking the rook. Easy Rider says not the biggest of an advantage. Oh, seriously, extra pawn. Wow. Nowadays, it's really hard to have even like plus equality. I mean, 0.3 or something if we use the engine evaluation. It's really like very good if you have such an advantage. So extra pawn, believe me, it's very pleasant. It's very pleasant. Let's try this. I mean, rook d1, just exchanging everything. King goes through f1, I guess, to help my pieces. This rook is very annoying here on d2. No, black doesn't want to exchange the rook. All right. Trying to make use of my bishop now. Let's just take it. In positions with damaged pawn structures, knights are usually quite good. That's why I get rid of that knight. I don't like it at all. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was too fast making this decision. I have no idea. Now my pawns on the king side are quite weak. In fact, yeah, maybe bishop c5 was awful. Maybe, not sure. But who knows, maybe I will have a chance to exchange the rook quickly. Because now if rook goes away, it's quite risky for black. And this one is just nice. Okay. I'm happy with this ending. I'm happy with this ending, 100%. It's just very nice. So the knight against the bishop in a position with preferable pawn structure for white, in my opinion. The bishop has no really this object of attack, so the knight should be much better. So the thing is to activate the king now, and I think there is a good way to do this. Okay, so let's go to the center. Now king d3, obviously. King to c4 now, just a classic thing. Okay, let's exchange this stuff. Yeah. King d6 was much better than this. I blundered this breakthrough, but I think I'm inside of the square, so should be just fine. Yeah, it's lost. All right, good game. I think black missed something already in the opening because it can't be good for black. So this line is just very nice. It's a well-known theory, in fact. So if you want to achieve this position, the right order of moves is obviously to play d6 And after d4, knight to f6. And after knight c3, e5. That is another story, right? Knight to f3, knight to d7. That is what probably black wanted to achieve. Because with this order of moves, white is obviously better. So, yeah. So d4, knight f6 takes, queen d5. That's the point. Knight goes here. It's possible, by the way, even to take on d6 right now, but I think bishop g5 is a correct move. So bishop goes to e6. Okay. Bishop d5, bishop c7, but white is already material up, right? What are we talking about? The thing is, there is very similar line in Petrov defense. So knight f6, d4, e4, e5, knight goes to e4, queen d4. But there is a big difference. The queen is on d4, not on d5. So in this case, after d5, black is fine. So e takes d6, knight takes d6, and so forth. Well-known theory. Here, as you can see, there is a big difference because my queen, can go not to d4 but to d5, blockading that square and preventing d5. And I think this defines white's advantage. All right, let's go further. It was a great fight. Schrummel is the next. Playing with white. Let's go. G6. Sniper. All right. No. Sniper is c5. D6. Okay. So let's develop the pieces the way I'm used to. I'm pretty much sure that when black plays b5 here, it should be attacked immediately. Miktal says, what a disaster. What do you mean? Oh, your game. All right. Maybe it's a chat which is lagging. I'm not sure. Don't know. Bishop to a6. All right, interesting idea. Just exchanging my light square bishop immediately, but I'm not sure that I'm really against that exchange, because look, after this, light squares on the queen side are quite weak, and I can probably use them this or that way. In any case, let's complete the development first, and then we will see. So I have a good center right now. And I think I have good perspectives on the queen side. But my opponent plays quite well. So now after cd4, there is knight to b4. So what about just playing d5? It's double-edged. Definitely double-edged. On the other hand, I'm dealing with that knight a6, which is not necessarily that great. In fact, it's quite bad piece at the moment. But that knight goes to c4 now. Well, yeah, my opponent is definitely good. What to do? What to do with him? I guess knight f2 should be played, just to coordinate my pieces after all. So this knight protects c3, which is important. And rook to b8. What about queen d3? Attacking the knight on a6 now. I was waiting for this rook b8, in fact. Because I have a feeling that black will have some problems with the coordination of his pieces. Maybe I'm wrong again. Oh, wow. I've just noticed a fantastic idea for black now. No, black didn't find it. Knight e5 was possible with the perpetual after queen a6, rook to a8, in fact. Knight to b4 isn't great because I take on b4 and I have two minor pieces against the rook, but knight e5 was fantastic. And if queen a6, then rook a8 and rook b8, my queen can't escape that. Wow, that was something. All right, let's forget about it. It's already another position, so let's play rook b1, attacking the queen. And now what? I definitely have to prevent this knight e5, I think, so I'll play f4. Title tournaments every time on Chess24? Yeah, it would be nice. The only problem is with servers. I'm not sure that Chess24 has enough power. Because there was an idea of holding a great tournament some sort of 2 or 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and it failed. Maybe something changed over this time, but I'm not sure. But it would be great, of course. Would be an interesting improvement. Right, let's play something here. Yeah, my opponent is very solid here. Very, very solid. I don't know how to win. So let's play this risky move, c4. Oops. Looks like I just blundered. Just blundered a lot. That is not nice. Yeah, I'm just misplaying it badly. My opponent is just beaten me, I guess. Okay, let's try this last chance. I'm clearly worse here. Clearly worse. Should be just lost for white. I'm in this position. It wasn't necessary, by the way. But maybe black is going to beat me simply with these two connected pawns. But okay, I will also do something on the king side. I guess instead of playing rook b4, queen c4 was absolutely winning move, and what has no compensation for missing material whatsoever. Now I will definitely have some tricks. I will definitely have some tricks. Queen g3 is a threat. Oh my god. He's playing like a monster this game. I can't even, compete. Shrumel is playing this super strong. I mean, the whole game is super strong. And now Queen g3, right? No, Queen d4. Okay, have some chances now. Alright, I won on time, but I was very close to losing this. So let's have a look at this moment when Black played. Yeah, here, first of all, if Black wanted to make a draw, there was a chance to play knight e5. So to Queen a6, Rook a8, I can't escape this perpetual, so I simply have no space. Maybe Black can dare for more, even. But I'm not sure, because I have the time to play knight somewhere. And then, yeah, Queen goes back to e2. But here, very nice pattern, by the way. I'm just showing you to increase your patterns. Very interesting. So knight to e5 was good. Queen b6, rook here, queen a7. Yeah, most likely rook to b5 was a move. The correct way of doing it was this rook to b1, queen here, and then rook to b5, maybe. But then knight to c7. That's why I actually didn't play that. Maybe white already has nothing in this position, I have a feeling that d5 was something deeply wrong with this move. So usually white tries to keep the pawn on d4. That's why probably I experienced these problems here. So knight to f2 is correct move, and if cd4, knight b4, okay, I can deal with this knight, but I still have these good pawns on d4 and e4, controlling a lot of important squares, limiting the activity of this knight and this bishop. So maybe knight to d3 here, and after knight takes d3, for example, queen takes d3, well, this position is slightly better for white because of the better center and better perspective hands of getting to weaknesses. So I have more mobile minor pieces, especially this knight. I can jump quickly to b5. I can quickly occupy this b1, c1. I simply have slightly more space and so on. It's not a big advantage, but it's slightly better position for white, I believe. So yeah, probably my mistake was to play d5. After that, black played perfectly up to this moment, I think. So when I play queen b3, I guess something simple like queen to c4, protecting the rook and offering the exchange of queens would have been decisive. I don't see what to do here, in fact. So black simply has two extra pawns now. There is a simple threat of taking on b3, then playing rook to a2. It's lost for white. If I play queen b7 here, the rook is no longer attacked, so black can easily take my knight. That's it. Game over. Queen takes c7. Okay, queen takes d2. Queen takes d7. Rook goes to a2. White can resign here. So queen takes f4. And you understand. So it's lost. It's over. That was perfect for black. I mean. But even what black played was great. So I tried several tricks, but this moves, knight d3, fantastic. With the idea of bringing the knight to e5 with the tempo. Wow, that was something. Probably I should have captured here on g6 anyway, but that knight on e5 somehow frightened me. I don't know why. So knight d3, queen d3 is also great because now there is a threat of just taking on g3. I know it's just an exchange, but after that exchange, black should win easily with his connected passed pawns supported by that bishop. That's why I played rook to e1, bishop e5, another great move. And now after this, queen to g3 could have completed the mission. So just queen here, I think I have to take, otherwise there is queen h2. In any case, I don't have a good square for a queen. Bishop takes here, and it should be just lost for white. I think. I'm not sure, but maybe there is a only way to save it somehow, but I can't believe in this, in fact. Maybe, in fact, there are some problems with protecting that pawn. Maybe. That's a surprising thing. Yeah, maybe I still have some tricks, you know. I'm quite tired to judge. But that was an interesting game. Very nice one. I was really close to lose it. All right, ChronicStudent is the next. And I'm playing with white. Let's play e4. Sicilian. Let's try something completely different compared to what I usually play against ChronicStudent. So I play d4, and in general I play just d4 in each and every game. So let's try something different. It's just the intention of playing Ruy Lopez, in fact. So like this position is very similar if, for example, black at some point plays e5. I'm already about to play d4, I guess, at some point. All right. What's going on here? So queen c7. Typical move for Sicilian. Not sure that in this case it's really useful, but okay, it's also playable. Let's play another typical thing, so just h3. b5 is ready. I can't actually prevent it, so I think we will continue the maneuver, this Spanish maneuver, typical one. So black plays Sicilian, I play Ruy Lopez. Interesting, isn't it? Rook to d8. This is very deep. Let's fight for central squares. So potentially I think black wants to play d6, d5. So I'm just developing the bishop on g5, kind of indirectly exerting pressure on d5 additionally. Also typical thing in this Ruy Lopez with the d3. So bishop goes to g5, then knight goes to e3. At some point I will have a threat of taking on f6 and playing knight d5. That's my idea at least. Okay, rook back to a8. Looks quite logical. Let's bring the knight to e3. Now I already have in mind actually to take on f6 and play knight d5 if black gives me a chance. And g5, wow. This should be very risky. I mean, this can't be right. This weakens f5, seriously, and position of the king in general. I don't like it. I don't like it. So, I don't think there is the sacrifice there. So bishop g5 at g5, knight g5 looks also quite... This looks like a blunder. Bishop e6. I can take it and play this, attacking everything, like b5, e6. Too many weaknesses, too many vulnerabilities. Okay, now I can take on b5 if I want. I can also just take on c4 with the pawn, and then after knight takes c4, take on b5 with the pawn again. But I think black will play knight to a5 after d takes c4, in which case, well, I don't know, but it looks very promising in any case. After knight a5, I think I can take on b5 with the queen simply. Can't see anything wrong with that. So rook b8, queen a4, rook takes b2, maybe this line only. Can also try queen to a2, by the way. Probably just a risk-free continuation. B takes c4, then just knight to d2, attacking that pawn and grabbing it sooner or later. Let's try this one. Looks slightly strange, but I think it's good. Knight takes e4. What's that? I can take on b5 now. b4 is not clear because of knight takes c3. Don't like that complications, but it may be also winning. So I play b4, knight takes c3, I play queen a3, and goodbye, most likely. But I like the idea of taking here simply because e6 is hanging. e6 is hanging again. All right, let's take it. So I have a lot of extra pawns now. One of them is doubled though, so it's a problem. But not that big one. The king is very bad. I don't believe in this position. No, rook e8. So many different moves that look good for white. I'll start with this king h2, avoiding any checks from the queen. Now just queen f5, knight f5 or something. Yeah, why not? Simple as that. Rook g8, rook takes e7. I think it's over now. Complete domination. All right. So two interesting things about this. So first of all, g5 was very bad idea. But okay, I think even earlier black had the chance to play much better. So all this was great. I mean, castling, knight to d2, and now queen to c7. So first of all, I think, correct approach to this position. So since we are playing Ruy Lopez here, in fact, yeah, black started with the c5, but everything says that white is playing Ruy Lopez and position is almost like in Ruy Lopez. The only difference is that the pawn is on e7, not on e5, excuse me. So since we're playing Ruy Lopez, what is the key piece? The key piece, in fact, is this one, this bishop. So if white manages to save it on the board and exert pressure on light squares, it will be great for white. So what to do in this case? To exchange it, right? And knight to a5 should have been played. So very typical thing. I played this knight to d2 on purpose. I saw that possibility of knight a5, and if in fact, if white wants to save the bishop on the board, white has to play bishop c4 here, right? If knight a5, then bishop a2. But I played that knight e2 on purpose just to see if my opponent will do this knight a5, and if not, I will explain it afterwards. So there was an instructive moment. So I think knight a5 is the safest way for black to play this position. In this case, the bishop is inevitably exchanged. So a6 is the threat. So if I ignore it, for example, play something like knight f1, just a6. Not bishop b5 giving me the a file, but a6, bishop takes, queen takes, or knight takes. It depends on your taste. And black is absolutely fine. So without the light squared bishop, white can achieve nothing in this position. Absolutely. That's my opinion. So knight a5 is the first moment. Then after queen c7 that happened in the game, once again, it was still not late to play knight to a5 here. a6 was possible. Here I expected knight to a5, and after bishop a2, b5. So just the same like in the game. That is just what I expected. But I think what you played here was also perfect. So knight f1, b5, takes, bishop goes to b3. Here I thought you would play knight to a5 followed by immediate b4. That was, in my opinion, very, very promising for black. Just like in typical Ruy Lopez. b5, b4 with the counterplay. This one, or maybe bc3, activating your bishop g7. Black is also fine. So rook d8, bishop g5. Now I'm no longer that afraid of this knight a5. Because, well, even if you play b4, b3, bishop b1, not sure, but probably that was still your best option. So knight a5, b4. Because this h6 and rook a8 looks too slow. Knight e3, and here is the last moment. I think black could have played simply queen to b7, protecting the rook, preparing rook a1, queen a1, rook a8. Maybe black could have even done the following. So rook takes, and queen b7 here, with the idea of rook a8, tempo move. So now, for example, something like bishop f6, knight d5. First of all, it's not a tempo action. You can ignore it. You can play rook a8, and you should be fine, I think. Another idea is probably just to, okay, after rook a1, queen a1, and queen b7, to take on f6 with the pawn immediately. So now, yeah, I can occupy d5, but I don't think it is really dangerous. You can play f7, f5 at some point, just like in Dragon, when white takes on f6 with the bishop or something. So this g5 was a real mistake. So after that, black's position already looks full of weaknesses. This f5 is a very bad thing for black, and so on. So I have this idea of playing e5 at any moment, knight f5, knight e5. So I have a clear plan. I don't like this position anymore. And bishop b6 is clearly just a blunder. So after that, I just attack everything. All right. Okay. In any case, let's play one more game. And this one will be the last for today. Because I'm in a bad shape. I mean, in the sense of health. But next week, you can expect just a long battle during 2 hours, just as usual. All right. Okay, again, strange opening. Queen e2, Chigorin, if I'm not mistaken. Chigorin used to play this. And e5. All right. So my queen on e2 is stupid now. Got it. I got it. Can we make use of it somehow? I mean, queen to b5 will be just very stupid. All right, we can't play d4. We can't play bishop b5. Very nice, by the way, this knight c6 and e5. All right. Oh. Queen in e2 on e2 doesn't give me anything. If I play c3, what is the difference? If knight f6, e4 no longer hanging. But if I play c3, d5 is possible, I think. But then I can take on d5 and play d4. Yeah, I think c3 is the only logical move here. Bishop e7. Okay. I guess now I've got some chances, you know? It's not that bad after playing queen e2, you know? If knight c3, then knight b4, but then queen b5 check. There are some problems potentially, so maybe a3 is forced or something. So Butterfly usually plays French. That is far from French. At the very least, he has to think over the board, I would say. So there is no preparation. I didn't want to play b4 anyway, so I just wanted to play knight c3. Why it's unfair, Cobra? Tell me why it's unfair. It's absolutely fair. I start with 3 games at the very beginning against guys I have not played. Didn't play before, I mean. Then I come back to the normal order of challenges. And then I play on. And I play usually at least 1 hour and a half. And right now we have 1 hour and 40 minutes. And when this game will be finished, it will be almost 2 hours. What is unfair? What's unfair? I don't understand it. What's unfair? Everything is fair, I guess. So newcomers give their challenges and they get their challenges early. And then the normal order of challenges, which means that the guys who attended first earlier than others and actually left the challenge get their game. All right, let's come back to the position, f6. Queen to b5. Bishop f4. I don't know why, but queen b5 looks very tempting to me. Attacking d5 and b7 and everything, literally. Let's try it. It's never-ending story, you know, this fairness and so forth. So each and every episode, I actually hear the same. You play same guys. You don't accept my challenge. Man, I have so many challenges, so I physically can't play each and everybody unless I stay here for, I don't know, 5 hours and so forth. Maybe there will be one day when I will play for 5 hours without a break, and then everybody who challenged will be accepted. But before that happened, just make sure to come early and challenge. That's it. I'm usually here like half an hour before the show starts. I'm online, so you can challenge already then. So queen d7 now. Queen takes b7, rook b8. If I take on d5, queen d5, knight d5, f takes e5, There may be some sort of material advantage, but there will be also disadvantage in the sense of development. I'm not sure, but I think queen d5 should be played. Or knight takes d5. No, queen takes d5. Let's take with the queen. An extra pawn, but only 1 minute left on the clock. There will be a problem with the conversion 100%, but I think I'm much better here. After this queen e2, it is nice to have this position, you know. Alright, let's bring the bishop to b5. Queen is sort of d5 now. Black has to do something with this, I think. And it's not that simple, by the way, to find a move. No coffee. That's another reason why it's time to finish the broadcast. No coffee in the cup. Nothing to drink. Oh. Just blundered d4 pawn. For no reason. Yeah, now I have no advantage. Yeah, after losing this d4 pawn, obviously I have no advantage. PT thing. Only some tricks. Yeah, my pawn structure is still better, I think, but, well, these bishops are potentially quite annoying, so it's really hard to... But after this, I win. Wow. That was a gorgeous thing to do. I don't know, rook e8. Probably, like, wanted to play rook to d8 or something. It's probably just a mouse slip. But now I have extra minor piece and absolutely winning position. Yeah, that was just a gift. Nice. Okay. So, that was the last game. Let's have a look at this. I mean, I don't think that black played the best way. So to c3, I don't think that bishop e7 is the correct way to react to all this. So maybe d5 immediately should have been preferred. In this case, I wanted to take on d5 and to play d4. But I'm not sure it's anything, I guess. After bishop g4, black is just fine. It's just a perfect setup. then castles. So this queen on e2 is definitely very bad. So it spoils white's strategy. If compared to this line, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, c3. Look, if black plays d5, there is at least some tactics after bishop b5. It's also a good line for black, but black has to know this perfectly because there is a lot of tactics involved in all these complications. I mean, d takes c4, knight takes c5, queen g5, and so forth. Knight takes c6, queen g2. This line goes like 20 moves in depth or maybe more. Here with the queen on e2, look, there is nothing to do. I mean, knight c6, knight f3, e5, c3, d5, I think is the best move. So now there is no chance to put the bishop on b5 because this blockaded. And after this and queen d5, well, this queen on e2 is really ugly. Well, yeah, I can do something like queen b5 maybe, but I can't believe it is good. So something like queen e4 check should be played here just to prove that white is really misplaying it. Followed by a6 and so on. But at very least, black is out of danger, 100%. After bishop e7, I am obviously achieving something. So takes here, d5, e5. I expected bishop g4 to start with, because black's plan now is to exert pressure on d4. And by the way, if you wanted to come up with this setup, it was much more logical, for example, to play knight to e7, because bishop on e7 is misplaced. After this, for example, d5, e5, and for example, bishop g4, I would take black, because after bishop e3 and knight to f5, there is a problem with the d4. So the same plan like in French defense, by the way. You just blockade the pawn d4 with your own pawn d5, and then you just try to attack it. The difference is that here you don't attack it with the pawn, but you attack it with pieces. That's the thing. So bishop e7 is probably the move that I would never ever played with black here. So d4, e4, d5, e5. Now, to bring the knight to f5, you have to develop it through h6, which I can take. If you want to use e7 square, you have to spend the time. Maybe bishop b4 deserved attention here with the idea of knight e7 and knight f5 or something. But yeah, definitely not like this. So after this, I think white is already winning or very close to a win. So here, white is simply a pawn up, no compensation. Most likely I should have played bishop b5 right away. Then simply capture the knight on c6. After, for example, rook goes away, just takes on c6 and extra pawn, and in my opinion, absolutely winning position gradually. So these pawns are bad, and so on. All right. In any case, thank you very much for. Oops, sorry. I guess yeah, you lost my board for some time. Anyway, thank you very much for this very first episode in New Year. I hope you learned something new. I hope, despite my problems with the voice, it was still understandable. So we'll be happy to see premium members next week on Tuesday. I will be showing some of my games from Brilton Cup, mainly focusing on saving bad positions, because that was exactly what I was doing during the tournament, mainly. So should be instructive in a sense of this topic. As for other players, once again, you're welcome next week to my Banter Blitz. And also don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter to be notified about all chess related activity, so that you won't miss anything. Have a nice weekend and see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.